Happy Saturday, Risers. Hope you all are safe and well. Saagar and I are back with some of our favorite moments from our interviews this week. Friend of the show, Aaron Glantz, joined us to talk about the lack of oversight in the coronavirus bailout package. Amber McReynolds, the CEO of Vote at Home, spoke with us about the absolute disaster that was Wisconsin's Democratic primary. And we also spoke with former Bernie Sanders advisor Chuck Rocha about the end of the Vermont Senators' 2020 run.
Right. And with Senator Sanders announcing the suspension of his presidential campaign earlier this week, we thought we'd examine whether or not the Democratic Party has sealed its fate by pushing him out of the 2020 race. The Young Turks' Cenk Uygur joined us on Thursday. He shared with us why he's worried that Joe Biden's campaign and supporters already seem to be readying excuses for a November defeat. Let's take a look.
Well, look, there's two things I'm worried about. One is their loser mentality. All over social media yesterday, they were already prefacing with, it's Bernie's job, Cenk's job, Nina Turner's job to win this election for us. And if we lose, it's going to be their fault. Okay. Well, you know who sets up an excuse 7 months before an election in case they're going to lose? A loser. Someone planning to lose. So I'm super worried about that because I, unlike the establishment, hate losing to Trump. I can't stand it. They seem perfectly comfortable with it. They did it once. I'm afraid they're going to do it again.
Cenk has a way, he really calls it like he sees it.
Yeah, well, but it's true. And we got even more information after that interview about the fact that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are tied with young voters right now. Tied. Like, do you know what a disaster that is for the Democratic Party? I'm not just talking about this election. I'm talking about for the party writ large. This was supposed to be like, as these young people come into politics, increasingly the numbers will be impossible for Republicans because they're so solidly behind the Democratic Party. Barack Obama won 66% of young people. Hillary Clinton won 55%. And now Joe Biden tied with Trump at 44 to 44. That's not Cenk's fault. It's not Nina Turner's fault. It's not Bernie Sanders' fault. It's not my fault. It is because the Democratic Party has no interest in doing anything but treating them with sneering contempt.
No, they certainly don't. And there you go. That's exactly why we see what we are right now. I think that number is spot on because a lot of people are just not going to vote. And so you're not going to have vote, and then you're going to have people who vote for Trump. And that's what the Biden campaign is setting itself up
and
for.
Trump is happy to troll like crazy, and try to appeal to Bernie people, and oh, you're right, you were wrong, etc. I mean, some of the things he's saying are actually right.
Right. Hey, he canceled student debt payments as of yesterday in his press conference. So I haven't seen that. That's on the same day that Biden came out with a proposal talking about, what did he say? He was like, "We'll cancel debt for people in these specific classes
this amount of
who work at this university
over this amount of time and at this date." It's like, oh my God, just cancel the debt.
Right.
Just cancel the debt.
Well, one person gets it in this race.
I don't know about that. The Intercept's Ryan Grimm also joined us on Thursday. He was a bit more optimistic about the readiness of Biden's campaign to bring Sanders supporters into the fold. Let's listen.
I think that they follow the data a little bit more closely than Jennifer Rubin does, and they know that yes, the media narrative around 2018 is connected with a reality that Democrats dominated in the suburbs, but they also know that there was an extraordinary surge in the youth vote in the 2018 midterms. Some of that was connected to March for Our Lives, and some of it was connected to anti-Trump sentiment, which is growing among young people, and some of it is mingled together among those two. They have seen the power of the climate movement to bring young people into politics in ways that they haven't been in the past. And so a campaign that studies that data knows, okay, if we want to replicate the kind of success of 2018, then we need not just the suburbs, not just the invisible moms, but we need their kids too.
Yeah, Brian has a bit of a more diplomatic approach than Cenk. Yeah. But after that interview, we learned the first olive branch from the Biden campaign, which was lowering the Medicare age from 65 to 60,
right,
which is not even as far as Hillary Clinton went 4 years ago, which is not even as far as like 25 Senate Democrats who want to lower it to 55 or 50 have gone. So really appealing to those on the left.
That's the thing is what he's really doing is going all in on the new strategy. Turn out the suburbs. There are 19 million people in this country between 60 and 65. That's what he wants to go out. He wants to drive out this older vote, which believes in the media, which watches the people that his surrogates that he puts out there that believe very much in his incrementalist message. He is doubling down on the suburban Wall Street strategy, and he's going to learn that that's not how you win an election.
I think that is well said.
Now, just because Joe Biden is the current leader in the delegate math does not mean that a last-second switch is not possible. There have been a lot of talk in some circles about the Democratic Party making a late change in the convention this summer, and a lot of people have floated New York Governor Andrew Cuomo as a possible Biden replacement. However, Ross Barkan, we spoke with us earlier in the week about why Cuomo doesn't deserve this national attention he's received for New York's coronavirus response.
Andrew Cuomo is getting tons of credit for having PowerPoints, for sharing anecdotes about his daughter and about his mom. And look, it's important to be reassuring in time of crisis. I don't want to downplay that necessarily, but people really have to pay attention to the policy and what has New York done that other states have not done. And the truth is, New York at best has had a mediocre response to COVID-19. And if you really want to be critical and open up the hood, we've been days behind other states in responding.
I thought that was an important point, which is, look, the only reason Cuomo is famous is because they screwed up the response in the first place.
Well, and also because he happens to be governor of New York. Yeah. His brother happens to have a primetime show on CNN. I mean, they all know him. He's the the governor of the media epicenter of the world. So there's that as well. But yeah, Democrats are like falling in love with Andrew Cuomo, and even progressives are like forgetting everything that he did throughout the rest of his career to laud him for not even the substance of his response, just as like an anti-Trump figure and stylistically. I don't really buy the whole Dems are going to swap out Biden for Cuomo, though. I think it'd be very difficult to pull off, number one. And number two, I think they're fundamentally basically happy to have a kind of empty vessel that they can fill with whatever they want.
Yeah, I don't really buy it either, but I mean, I'm not sure, because the longer he does, I guess it's more this. You're right. It's probably just cosplay, being like, oh, it's possible. We saw the same thing people were saying about Trump. The truth is like once you become the nominee, you're generally the nominee. You're stuck. This is how it's going to be. And so a lot of this maybe just demonstrates how much buyer's remorse people have with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And the establishment is still, despite these calls, is like, we're ready to go.
Look, I think if there was some kind of, if he had like some kind of a health crisis, like if there was some precipitating event where they had a good excuse to do it,
right,
maybe then. But I don't think they're going to force it to happen absent some sort of opportunistic event arising.
I think that's right.
That does it for us. We'll be back later today with our recurring media segment where we break down the week that was in, what do you say, the media covering themselves in glory?
In glory. And tomorrow we'll be back with another round of #RisingQs. We're going to see you guys then.